Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to continue to take a look at the scenario where civilization starts over. In the last episode, um, not gonna lie, I forgot a bunch of stuff. I think the Rhineland country got jumped and Stockholm also got weakened and new Russian countries formed and stuff in Asia also happened. So just get into this episode. Now we're heading over to our daily rush update. We see this county forming, and there's all groups of lot of people coming from other countries that doesn't they don't are they aren't living well in the other countries, so decide to form one, and it's a pretty big country and it's actually prospering now. It's becoming pretty big, pretty important actually. So let's see what will happen. But we also see these groups of country expanding, and now they kind of look like Czechia. Not only that, we see them sending a bunch of explorers, and these explorers keep settling all of these areas. We also see Caspia doing stuff, and they are working it out. They're also doing this. They are exploring even more, and now only some border areas are left that are undiscovered. And I know that India being undiscovered is crazy. It just has to be. And basically, what else is going to happen is that, uh-oh, Blue Denmark and the Baltic country went into disagreement. Uh-oh, Oslo kicked Copenhagen out of their big alliance with big countries. Uh-oh. And now something is happening. Uh-oh. This is going to be the third crusade, and it's against Blue Denmark. I'm going to explain what's happening with all the whole Baltic dynasty thing. Basically, there is a bunch of kings that are ruling the country in this succession, and they're all having this one goal. And this goal is to take all important cities in the world and make them Baltic. Basically, a whole city system, and the religion is getting involved now. And the Baltic Navy is actually having trouble with Copenhagen, not over here in Germany. We see that the Germans done it and they enter into Pomerania trying to retake it. But not only that, we see this Rhino puppets entering, and now they join the war to help the Lime Belgians. Oslo is not going to invade, but in the end, the Baltics managed to cross this. They take Copenhagen, and now that then Copenhagen was just trying to finally do a comeback. It's already over, and they surrender to survive. Spoiler in the peace treaty, they're going to survive. So I think that's all. Basically, Line Belgium gained some land. This new country got created. Germany has now access to the sea once again. The Baltic has managed to expand even more. They got the holy city. And Oslo gained some land because the Baltics gave them that, even though Oslo didn't want it. And yeah, this happened. Basically, the Oslo likes the Baltic Empire to being their ally because if they are not allies, it's going to be tough to ruling this world. But now we see that we're heading over to the Balearic Empire, which is going to do something very nice. They're going to sail and they're going to do this. They're going to make a pretty decent exploration campaign and they go pretty far and then they stop because there's too much stuff. They try to get in the Sahara. It's probably halting them, but for simplicity's sake, we say this happened. We also see the Egyptians and this terrorist country doing an exploration campaign. They're not working together just to specify some stuff. So other stuff happens. Egypt expands a little bit, not too much though, because they care about their people. After all, the economic crisis they've had. But now the Balearic Empire, we're going to talk about them again. First, they colonize. Well, not really colonize. They consider it core land, but basically they expand to Morocco and keep exploring stuff. But now they're having beef with Tunisia, Carthage, call them like you want. Well, they're having territorial disputes because Tunisia claims this areas, and also Balearic Empire does. And the Balearics now think that it's the right time to make their Mediterranean empire even bigger. And so, without a formal declaration of war, they start the Carthaginian campaign. This guy will start They will start marching and they're way more powerful than Tunisia and also a bit more stable. So it's pretty hard war to win. In the desert, the Tunisians are able to survive. Meanwhile, in the rest of the areas, they're kind of getting defeated by the navy. Malta gets taken. But then we see Naples trying to aid Tunisia. And Naples is now doing okay. They recover from the War of the Sailors, and their aid does stuff and kind of helps Carthage. And now also see Milan secretly aiding against the Balearics. We see France trying to aid, even though it's going to be pretty hard to aid. But with all of this aid, Tunisia or Carthage or how I call them, I forgot, they're holding and they're now actually resisting. But the Balearics will still be able to make a landing in Libya. And at this point, I don't know how much can they do. But be careful because now even Egypt is aiding the Tunisians. And with this, we see that there's going to be a navy incident. Basically, two navies clash and now Egypt and the Balearic Empire are at war. And Egyptian forces, in fact, help Tunisia free themselves. And now it's a whole African campaign. The Balearics know that this might be their downfall, so they're fighting for their lives. They're preparing a plan to defeat Tunisia as fast as possible. They make a landing into the capital, it succeeds, and now they're marching. and it might end like this. So basically, this war is now getting into a stalemate because in the desert, the African forces are still winning. The Balearics are getting kicked out now. And this war is basically a stalemate, and now the Empire offers peace. But Egypt is not willing to peace out. They want to completely kick out the Balearics. Tunisia is willing to peace out though, so they surrender. And now it's just Egypt against the Balearic Empire. The Balearics alone, they can win against Egypt. They will make a small landing in Cyrenaica. The army's tired of war though, so they won't be able to advance that much. Well, Egypt is pretty nationalistic. In fact, two very nationalistic countries are fighting themselves. What is Athens doing? Are they still allied with the Balearics? Will they see an opportunity in Africa actually? But the lands that they wanted so much are controlled by the Balearics right now, so they're not aiding the Balearics. There's kind of a rivalry going on now. The tripolar Mediterranean system, Africa, Balearic Athens. It's so crazy, I know. But then we see this Libyan country deciding to help him liberating Egypt, and it's going to be a pretty hard war to fight. And eventually, Egypt decides to just agree to peace, and we can take a look at the peace treaty of the Carthaginian campaign. So, this is the peace treaty. We see that the Balearics annexed the key city of Carthage and also Malta, which makes Naples pretty angry. And they're thinking, oh, if we join the war, we could have won against them. And the territorial dispute has been won by the Balearics, but they had to cede some land in order to take all of this. And now they're the strongest country in the Mediterranean. Actually, I think we can do power rankings. Here in East Asia, there's probably someone be able to. I'll do top 5 for now. The strongest country in the world is. It's still like Belgium, they're still pretty powerful and they stabilize themselves. But close second is the Balearic Empire. They're getting up there. They might actually surpass the French. Wait, no, not the French, the Belgians, which makes Lame Belgium actually pretty scared now. In third place, we still have Oslo. They're pretty powerful. They're not weak. They're not weak. They're just lacking in things that the Balearics are not. The fourth place, we see the Baltic Empire, which is not really focusing on stabilizing themselves, setting provinces up. This is the reason Oslo can win against them in a war. And also because these lands would probably rebel. Oh wait, the Holy Red say here. I fixed it, chat. I fixed it. Well, their next holy city will be this one, but I think it will. Top 5, we probably have either Athens or Belarus. Egypt could have been there, but the war kind of weakened them. Even though they're actually stronger, people now like them. And Egypt and Tunisia and this Libyan country have formed an alliance now, basically to stop the Balearics, but not only. Top Irish also could be. But we did do a lot of wars today. We need to do some expansion and exploration. Athens was expanding a little bit today. Also, this Turkish country is going to. But Athens is thinking about invading them because they're actually pretty powerful and they're kind of stopping Athens from expanding. So they might actually get on the list. We also see Crimea doing this pretty good campaign. They're able to do it thanks to Caspian technology. And Caspian technology does it as the whole of the Caucasus has been discovered. Even though they probably aren't able to climb the mountains that much, we actually saw a pretty big Caspian expansion. And these two rivals are now approaching each other even more. Surely they're not going to have a territorial dispute, nah. Yeah, no, these borders are weird, like a lot weird. What happens over here? We see that this is Lebanon, either Syria or Lebanon, and also do this pretty big discovering. This is nice, but like real nice. Let's head over to Asia. How are all Pooks doing? Even though Laos is living in the jungle, they're chilling and they're becoming pretty. They're stabilizing now. We see this Laotian exploration group sends, and they do pretty well. We also see the Philippines keep on doing some naval explorations. This Chinese government is having some trouble, so they're stopping expanding. Korea, on the other hand, is able to expand a little bit. Not that much, but they're able to expand a little bit. Hokkaido, Hokkaido will be able to actually expand. They will take this island thanks to Japan helping them. They're allies. Japan is basically united peacefully. Oh, the Jeju Island country is not doing anything for now. But now we discover some. But now you guys are going to discover what's happening in India. Yup, there's this huge Indian civilization with a lot of discovered land, and now they just made themselves known to the world. Why did they wait so much? They're actually scared a little bit. But who discovered them? No, they actually sent an explorer group over here and they met up with Laos and they discover stuff. And they actually make up this in Myanmar. They do this. And also they need to stabilize. So what other stuff is going to happen? This will get discovered. The Portuguese countries taking this. Meanwhile, Oslo has finally the capacity of taking over all of Iceland. And also this island, I think it's called Jan Mayen. So this is they're getting close. They're getting actually close. So this is our beautiful world. I kind of ran out of ideas, but then we see this Archangels expanding, they're stabilized themselves now. And also, this newly formed country is going to expand. This is basically the Holy Russian Empire, but actually even worse. Oh, well, how this terrorist, well, not terrorist, anarchist, they are expanding now. They're exploring. Well, crime rates in this country, of course, are actually pretty high, but turns out they actually know how to run because they made a massive exploration campaign. They also expand a little bit, and now they're Sudan basically, and it might be able to rival Egypt. And Egypt is scared of them. So we see this desert Libyan country joining in the alliance that Egypt made just for some protection. So this is surely it for today. Well, no, there actually is. Here we go, another pink Russian country. Just a pink, chill Russian country that formed. And our daily rush update is lasting longer this time. So this counter expand. And if you guys think the Imperial Alliance is liking all of these Russian countries, you're wrong. Definitely. Oh, be careful, Kaliningrad, because you might be next. Also, Ireland got added into the perilous alliance that Oslo made. So I think we can end this episode here. It was a long ride. We saw some huge wars happening, and we're getting set on. And the Age of Empires is lasting, and it's continuing, and it's going to continue. Also, I think I might do more wicso episodes in the schedule because we're kind of not doing it. So I might go up till episode 17 and record. I don't know. See ya, guys.